I am Anwar sir. My name is Anwar Ahmed, and I will be taking your accountancy classes. In the last week, accountancy classes were conducted, and Manas sir has taken the classes, and there he has completed chapter 1 and also a small topic of chapter 2, that is terms of business and accountancy. I am going to continue with that topic today. Okay, I am going to continue. One thing, a general question I want to ask you. Let's see how many of you can answer. Being good, how you can be good in accountancy? What is the what are the do's and don'ts of being good in accountancy? I'm sure many of you have been benefited by sir's class, by Manas's class, and by everyone's class, and whatever resources you have been going through the CBSE websites, the school website, and other learning materials. But this is only my personal understanding and my personal belief that if you understand the meaning of the terms properly, then you will be able to understand the entire concept properly. If you understand things, what happens, why it happens, then only I think you are being, you will be able to do the class nicely. You will be able to understand the accountancy nicely. See, there are two types of people in the world. Okay, one kind of persons are categorized in skilled category, and another type of is called unskilled. you know Everybody who is taking accountancy, people like you, those who have taken commerce, will fall under this skilled category. Now, what makes you be good in this skilled category, how you can be treasured when you will be doing your own business, or in case if you are working somewhere, then how you think your market value will increase? That is all because of how good you are over here now. If you are good, people will treasure you, they will give you lots of money. If you are good, you will run your business properly. If you're not so good, people will take you for a round. So one question I want to ask you, try to answer it. If I ask you, how many sense organs do you have? I repeat, how many sense organs do you have? So I'm sure everyone must be thinking by now, sir, we have only 5 sense organs. And some of us will also be thinking, sir, we have 6 sense organs, right? The sixth one is the sixth sense that we call as a metaphor and all. But the moment you have taken admission in commerce, the moment you have wanting to study commerce and accountancy and all that, believe me, understand that you have only one sense organ. I repeat, yes, you have only one sense organ, and that is money. If you think like this, that you have only one sense organ and that is money, then the entire subject of accountancy is going to be easy for you. The entire subject of accountancy is going to be easy for you. You will understand things properly, nicely. You will not have that much of problems and be a little practical, right? So today we are going to understand the first topic for the day, that is asset. What is an asset? ASSET, asset. In general, people say that asset are something that you own, that you possess. That is an asset. Asset is something that is a property, or you have paid some money and you have some utilities and so on. So what is an asset? How you will understand what is an asset? What is the easier meaning of an asset? Okay, this pen by which I am writing, do you think it is an asset? Yes, it is an asset, because I am the owner of this. because I am the owner of this. It is my property, this pen. We have a house. That house is my asset because I am the owner of that house. Had I been staying in a rented house, that wouldn't have been my asset. You know why? Because I am not the owner. I don't have the rights of the asset. It means, rights of the asset means ownership. So asset is something that is useful to you, that has some market value. It can be sold and generated some money, and it helps you to generate money. It helps you to generate money. So a very simple three conditions, as I can think and say you all, that there are three conditions. If you fulfill those conditions, anything can be termed as an asset, right? So let's cover up. Class 11 students, please pardon my handwriting. Many of you have to bear with this handwriting. I'm sorry for it. I'll try to improve my handwriting, but as of now, let's go for it. So condition number one, for anything to be an asset, condition number one, some money was paid to acquire it. Some money was paid to acquire it. Number two, it has some utility. Number three, it can generate some money if we dispose it. These are the three conditions. If these three conditions are fulfilled, then anything can be termed to be an asset. All these three has to be fulfilled. Even if a single one is not fulfilled, then it is not an asset. All the three conditions has to be fulfilled. So let's now go for some examples and we'll understand what is an asset. Anything that is to utility to us. Like take for example the computer or mobile phone in which you are watching this video, right? Or maybe in the television in which you are watching this video. Is it your asset? Think, is it your asset? Yes, it is an asset because all these three conditions will be fulfilled. Number one, some money was paid to acquire it. Yes, when you bought this mobile phone or the laptop or the tab or maybe your television, whenever you bought it, you had to pay some money to buy that. Okay, so first condition is fulfilled. Second is it has some utility. Yes, in general with your mobile phone or with your tab or with your laptop or with your TV, you do many things, and currently you are studying also, so it has some utility. Obviously second one is fulfilled. Third one, it will generate some money if you dispose it. Dispose means sell, बेचोगे, मतलब it can generate some money if you dispose it. In general sense, if you dispose it, you will get some money. Sell off your mobile phone, you get some money. Don't ask about how much money you will get, but you will get some money. Similarly with your tab, with your laptop, with your TV, with everything. Think about anything. Like say for example your vehicle, say your car or say your scooty, your bike, whatsoever. Think about it. All these three conditions are fulfilled. Yes, it will be fulfilled. Money was paid when you bought it. It has some utility. Yes, it gives you the mobility. Of course, we must not mobilize ourselves during this pandemic time, right? During this COVID-19 time, coronavirus, we should not be mobilizing ourselves and try to stay safe. But it has some utility by helping us to mobilize ourselves to go here and there. And if we sell our car or our scooty or bike, we will get some money. So see, all these three things are fulfilled. Now let's take for example a rented house. Is it my asset? Is my rented house an asset? Think about it. Let's clear from here. Some money was paid to acquire it. Yes, we are paying rent. In order to stay in that house, we are paying rent. First one is fulfilled. Very good. It has some utility. Very good. Yes, it has some utility. Our house, our rented house, protects us from heat, cold and rain, from all kind of, and while staying indoors at house, it is helping us. Second one is also fulfilled. It can generate money if we dispose it. Third one, is it fulfilled? No, not fulfilled. Why? Because we cannot dispose it, we cannot sell it. भाड़ा का घर है ना, it's a rented house. We cannot sell it. Understood? So rented house is not my asset. Similarly, my customers are my asset. My machines are my asset, provided all of these things are fulfilled. So now we shall be starting with the types of assets. So before we start the types of assets, I thought of giving you all the definition that has been given by a renowned professor, Mr. R. N. Anthony. The definition of assets. Assets are valuable. I repeat, assets are valuable resources owned by a business, or you can add the word over here, individual, by a business or an individual, which are acquired for a measurable money cost. Please note this down. Please note this down. Please note it down, otherwise please pause the video, note it down, and then again let's continue. So assets are valuable resources owned by a business or an individual which are acquired for a measurable money cost. Now if you see this example also, this definition also, which has been given by Professor R. N. Anthony, here also he is saying that they are a valuable resource. Always remember the definition and the meaning of resource. Resource is something that has some capacity to satisfy human wants, and in this case, to be more precise about a business wants. That is, the asset should be able to generate resources. The asset should be able to generate money. Okay, it should be able to add revenue. So now let's start the types of assets, or you can say the classification. Well, I am not going to go much in detail about this because it needs a lot of other understandings. So as of now, I am going to give you things that is there in your syllabus, as well as the things that you will be able to understand. In classification, there are two major classification. One is called non-current asset. The other one is called current asset. Now, what is a non-current asset? A non-current asset is that asset that is with us for a longer period of time, basically for more than one accounting year. I repeat, non-current assets are those assets which are held by us, which we keep with us for a period of more than 1 year. In general, these assets, I repeat, in general, these assets are not meant for sale. I mean, we don't buy these assets to resell them. For example, our house, for example, our building, for example, our plant. Plant means those machineries, okay, big machineries. And many, there are ample number of examples. So non-current assets are those assets which we keep with us for more than 1 year. In a simple language, you understand this thing only. It will be easier for you to go ahead. So examples are building, plant, machinery, and many other. What is it? Basically, we keep them for more than 1 year. And then what is a current asset? What is a current asset? In general, try to understand current asset which we keep only for 1 year or less, which we keep with us for 1 year or less. Now, regarding non-current assets, there is a further classification of non-current asset, that is tangible assets and intangible assets. So now we are going to understand non-current asset. Non-current assets, one is called tangible asset and the other one is called intangible asset. Now what is a tangible asset? Now what is a tangible asset? Tangible asset are those assets which can be touched and seen. I repeat, tangible assets are those assets which can be touched and seen. For example, building, say plant, furniture, etc. All these are tangible assets because you can touch a building, you can see a building, you can see a plant, you can see a machinery, you can see a furniture, you can touch a furniture. So tangible assets are those things which can be touched, okay, which can be touched, it can be touched. So anything that is tangible, it can be touched and seen. Now comes intangible assets. What are intangible assets? So as the name suggests, tangible means it can be touched and seen. Intangible means it cannot be touched and seen. Exactly. Which cannot be touched and seen. So what are the examples of these assets? That's very important, yeah. That's very important, which cannot be touched and seen. So what are those assets which cannot be touched and seen? Okay, interesting. Come see. Goodwill. Goodwill is an intangible asset. Now you must be thinking, sir, what is goodwill? Or many of you might be familiar what goodwill is. Goodwill is actually the reputation. Goodwill is actually the reputation or the good name due to which the business or the company is famous and the company is able to generate more money as compared to its competitors. Yes. For example, think about it. If you want to go for movies in Siliguri area, if you want to go for movies, what is the main or the first name that comes into your mind? Maybe Inox, or maybe that Fun Cinema or Big Cinema that is in Seven Kingdom and all that. That comes to your mind. No one thinks about Vishal Cinema. No one thinks about Payal Cinema and Meghdoost Cinema and Biswadeep Cinema and all that. Why? With this good name, Inox is being able to earn more money. Okay, next example. If you want to eat pizza, what name comes into your mind first? Most of you must be thinking about Domino's pizzas, and some of you will be thinking about that another one is there. I am also forgetting the name. Anyway, so Domino's pizzas. Yeah. So what happens when it comes to your mind? What do you think? What do you feel in that way? You are having more number of customers. When you get more number of customers, larger amount of sale. Larger amount of sale means larger amount of profit. Think in this way. Easy for you. Okay. So one example is goodwill. Another example is say patent. Patent. Now what is a patent? Many of you will be aware what is a patent. Many of you might not be aware. No problem. Patent I'll explain you. When any technology is, invented, the inventor of those technologies protect themselves, otherwise others will copy it. I'll give you one simple example. Some years ago, Whirlpool refrigerator company has invented a technology called door cooling technology. Okay, please listen to this interesting piece of story. This is actually a real story. That's why I'm sharing it with you. So Whirlpool company has invented a very good technology called door cooling technology. Now what was this door cooling technology? In earlier days, the refrigerators, what it used to be, that the main chamber, whatever things you put it in the main chambers, those will get cold. That will get little colder first, and after that whatever is remaining, then things that you put on the door of the refrigerator, maybe bottles or maybe eggs or anything that you put over there, maybe milk or whatsoever, that will get colder later on. Now people used to keep water bottles over there in the refrigerator doors, and used to take a lot of time to get it cold. Then Whirlpool company invented the technology called door cooling technology. Actually what happened, from the compressor they just took one outlet pipe and they gave it on the top of that refrigerator door, so that that door area will also get that cold air quickly, and those area will get cold quickly as compared to other refrigerators in the market. Now try to understand, if I am a competitor of Whirlpool company, okay, Whirlpool company has invested such a huge amount of money in the research and development, and after that this idea came into their mind, in the scientists of their mind, in their R&D, that is research and development area. If there is another company, say Voltas company, or if say there is another company, refrigerator competitor, say like Godrej, or say Haier, or IFB or whatsoever, if I am from say Godrej company, I also manufacture these refrigerators. If I buy one refrigerator of Whirlpool company from the market, try to bring it to my workshop or my factory, open it up and try to see what is it over there in the door cooling technology, do you think it is very difficult for me to understand how they made this door cooling technology? It is just simple thing for me. I will understand that from the compressor, main compressor, they have just taken one pipe and brought it over here on the door. So at one side you have Whirlpool company, invested lakhs and crores of rupees to get this technology. On the other hand, you have got Godrej company, invested just that 15-20,000 rupees to buy one refrigerator, and that also they can get that same knowledge by investing just that 10-15,000 rupees or 20,000 rupees. So in order to protect themselves legally, what they do, they get their technology patent. Now what is patented? You have to apply to the government, and the government will give you rights that any other company cannot use this particular technology unless until they take a written permission from you. Unless until they take a written permission from you. So this is also an asset for the company. Let's say for example that Whirlpool company, patent is an asset, because others it will help and protect that company. This technology cannot be used by other companies, and thereby in the market Whirlpool company will be selling their refrigerators at a higher price because it has got that new technology. Understood? So patent is also an intangible asset. Next example I'll give you. Say copyright. Like this it is written. In your books you see, open up any book, any reference book, or maybe NCERT book if you have, maybe class 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, any class book that you have, you see somewhere in the starting area, in the initial pages 1, 2, or maybe page number 3, you will see a sign like this. This sign will be there. A C will be written inside a circle. Now what is this copyright? Copyright is something that will protect any author or any person who has derived that technology or that piece of work by copying from anyone. Like for example, suppose you are going to follow for reference say DQ Goyal book. Okay, I can also copy things that is written over there in DQ Goyal book and can publish it by my own name, Anwar Sir's book. I can do that. Yes, I can do, but I will not do, because if I do that, I will be subject to this Copyright Act, and I might have to pay a lot of money as fine and maybe jail. So what is a copyright? Copyright is a protection that you cannot copy anything. Many of you might be knowing, you might be aware of this. So these are basic things. There are many other examples which I can quote, but as of now, just understand that tangible assets are those assets which can be touched and seen. Intangible assets are those assets which cannot be touched and seen. It can only be think. Another example just came into my mind. Say softwares. Whenever you download anything from torrents, what does it say? Your VPN and all that. Why do people buy this VPN? Because if you buy those softwares, you have to pay money, and if you don't buy, you are subject to this piracy and this Copyright Act. Okay,